Hey, I'm Tony Scott, and this is news you may have missed. In South Kakalaki, Emily Craig, who's 20, and Sean Bowden, who's 31, were arrested for having sex in a display shed at Home Depot. Now, police say Emily was charged with disorderly conduct and being a nuisance, and Sean was charged with disorderly conduct, being a nuisance, and indecent exposure because cops saw his peen. Now, they were allegedly first seen in the screw department. Sometimes they just write themselves. Cops entered the shed and found Emily partially clothed and Sean shirtless with his pants down near his knees and his penis exposed. Let's see. A white girl caught having sex with a black man in Home Depot in the South. You know whose fault this is, right? In Connecticut, Lonnie Bouchard, who's 22, was charged with having sex with two underage boys 2 years ago, and she's not going to do any jail time. She was sentenced to a 3-year suspended prison sentence and 2 years probation. Now, she's not allowed contact with her victims. Now, before you're mad, the judge, David P. Gold, told the court that he was impressed by what appears to me to be a greater level of maturity in Lonnie. He also noted that the Office of Probation and one of the victims' families supported a no jail sentence. Lonnie was arrested like 2 years ago when she was 19 and was hired to watch a 14-year-old boy. What 14-year-old boy needs a 19-year-old female babysitter? Lonnie had written in her journal that she was in love with the boy and that the law shouldn't tell her who to date. Her mother pleaded guilty to risk of injury for allowing the relationship between the victim and her, Lonnie, to progress, even providing weed and alcohol. She got 2 years probation. You see, this always seems to happen when it's a female teacher. If she were a male teacher, she'd get the maximum, labeled a sex offender, and would get her ass beat every day in prison. So she's 22 now, and he's what, 17? You think they're sneaking around until he turns 18? Come on, man. Hey, 13 years ago in Australia, John Price told friends if he wasn't at work the next day, it was probably because Catherine Knight murdered him. He didn't show up for work. The night before, Catherine showed up at his place in a black negligee. Police found his head in a warm pot, stewing with zucchini and cabbage and potatoes. His skin was hanging from a nail. Catherine, it seems, was something of an expert with knives. John Price's skin was so skillfully removed, only a few pieces were missing from his toes, his fingertips, and his chest. She's the first Australian woman to get life with no parole. A few years later, Catherine appealed, saying the sentence was too harsh. The judge says he wouldn't cut her sentence. White man, it's what's for dinner. And then, in Florida, a mom was watching her son play football and left her iPad on the car seat. Flag number 1. Well, this woman allegedly smashed the car window and snatched the iPad. The alleged, it seems, took some selfies, not realizing the pictures were accessible remotely. Hey, genius, pro tip for you here. Don't take selfies with a stolen cell phone or laptop because you never know how they have it set up. Now, everybody knows what your stupid self looks like, and it's just a matter of time before they snatch your butt off the streets. I bet your entire family is so proud. That's all I got. Hey, follow me on Facebook and Twitter and Tumblr and Instagram and Pinterest. A thumbs up improves my credit score, and subscribe it improves my standing in the world. Thank you so much for watching News You May Have Missed. I'm Tony Scott.